Hello, everyone. On September 11th of all days, why not September 11th? There's going to be an Anaretic Pluto Astraea Earth trine. And because Pluto is the planet of power and transformation, it just recently went back into Capricorn and is probably still trying to restructure old, outdated power structures and power situations. And Astraea, which is the fifth of the asteroids, denoting karma breaking and destiny changing, is at the very end of Virgo, ready to move into Libra, and the two are making an Earth trine. I told you a couple of times already what anaretic means. Anaretic is a placement when a planet or an asteroid is at the very last degrees of the signs, and it means usually, if you see it in a natal chart, it means that things are being stalled. So if you have anything at 29 degrees in your own chart, it means that you were not able to surpass or actually utilize that archetype, and it's got stuck. And if it's a space-time moment, just like this on the 11th of September, it means that things are being stalled. And because there's Pluto and Astraea in the picture, stalled transformation and stalled karma breaking are present in the space-time moment. The placement, the exact trine, occurs on September 11th at 8:27 p.m. London time, and it's an Earth trine, which means that Earth, of course, is the element of reality, of practicality, of the manifested world, the manifested reality. So that's what gets stuck. And if you look around, to me, it is absolutely appalling what is happening in England. I just heard that they let out about 2,000 serious sex offenders in order to prison 90 and 80-year-old grandmas who made a bad remark on Facebook. This is ridiculous. But of course, we have a government which is very, very left-wing, which is communistic, let's put it this way, and look at the history of communism, of the Soviet Union, or of my country, Hungary. Believe me, I lived half my life in a communist country. I can tell you everything about it. And please don't come to me with the bullshit, excuse my language. Oh, because we did, the ideas are great, but it was never truly applied. Yes, there was. This is what happened either in my country or in Germany, in the eastern portion of Germany, especially in Eastern Germany, or in Russia, in the Soviet Union. That's the true face of communism. And if you look around, there were two elections in East Germany. And of course, AfD won, Alternative für Deutschland, which they are trying to label as Nazis and as racists and whatever. No, they are pragmatists. All what they want is order, and they want the normalcy of old times, and that's what they are trying to bring back. And it's funny because the Westerners are totally brainwashed, but Easterners who live through this system cannot be brainwashed. They remember. And what was striking for me was that among the voters, the very young voters, the first voters, or anyone around up to 25 to 28 years of age, voted for them. Like 38% voted for them. And that gives me hope that hopefully the young people see what's happening. Okay, let's take a look at the London chart. As you can see, there is this very interesting traffic jam here with Pallas Athena already in Sag, trying to catch up with Lilith, the asteroid Lilith, revolt against injustice, which is conjunct Dark Moon Lilith, the acceptance of the curse. And all this is opposite Sedna. Sedna is creation through dissection. Mercury is exactly conjunct trans Pluto, and quite interestingly, all the communication planets and asteroids are very prominent in this chart. Actually, Uranus is in the first house. Um, Trans-Pluto is conjunct Mercury, and Pallas Athena is just went into Sag. Why is this important? Because there are 4 levels of communication. Mercury represents everyday discourse, something that we do with our friends, with our spouse, with our whatever peers, really. Everyday discourse is not very deep and sophisticated, right? That's Mercury. Pallas Athena gives you the edge of wisdom, but they are still the everyday levels. And Uranus provides flashes of inspiration. It's the higher octave of Mercury. And then Trans-Pluto gives you the potential not just to have the flashes of inspiration, but actually reach up and draw down whatever you need. So it's the channeling energy. So that those are the levels, and all are quite prominent in this chart. Okay, what else is here in the London chart? You have Ceres, the nurturing principle on the midheaven. So that's what it is. And let's take a look at the things that are either at the very end or at the very beginning of the signs. And we do have quite a few things here with, of course, the ascendant descendant, which is also at the very, very last degrees of Aries and Libra, while the planets and asteroids can be anaretic when they are at the very last degrees of a sign. The angles cannot. Yes, of course the nodal axis can. Those can be representing this, but with the ascendant and the midheaven, it's rather different. It simply means that when you have an ascendant or a midheaven at the very, very late degrees of a sign, it simply means that this is what you wanted to carry. You needed this energy. So there's nothing is stored there. Nothing is hindered. It actually is a very strong placement to my mind that, yes, I waited for the very last minute and then I incarnated, but I needed this sign on my ascendant or on my midheaven. And here it is the case because, of course, Aries on the ascendant means the go-getter, someone who is willing to fight, who is willing to assert what is important. Okay, so here are the placements. You can see I did include the moon, which is quite wide to my taste because I usually accept 2 degrees for the configurations and only 1.5 if the angles are also included because the angles are non-radiating points. Whereas the luminaries, I allow maybe 2.5, maybe 3 degrees. But even then, the moon is about 4 degrees apart, 3.5 for sure. So it's a little bit wide. But the moon is the fastest. Number one. Number two, it is also a luminary, and so it's also applying. So you have 3 major reasons. I had 3 major reasons why I included it into this complex planetary picture. And as you can see, most of the things are at the very end of the signs, except for Pallas Athena, which is already at the first degree of Sagittarius, and Sedna, which is retrograding now, and it's at 1 degree 11 in Gemini. It won't go back into Taurus. So it stays in Gemini for good. I think it goes back to 0 degrees, 0.5 or something really ridiculous, but it does not go back to Taurus. So for the next 60, 80 years, it's going to travel in Gemini. You should know that Sedna is a very slow moving object. It has an orbital period of 11,500 years. So if you look at it and want to divide it by 12, you get a really huge number. It's almost like 900 years. So on average, it should be staying in one sign for 900 years. But whenever it is close to the sun, when it orbits very close to the sun, this can be much shorter. So it could be around 100 years, 80, even 60 years. And of course, when it's in the other side, it usually takes much longer than 1,000 years. So it's an interesting little object. It denotes creation through dissection. Sedna has a very interesting, it's an Inuit story. You can Google it. And then the rest is at the 29 degrees, or well, actually Neptune is at 28 degrees and 46, so it's no longer anaretic, but it's still quite close. And as you can see, again, we have a Pluto-Neptune sextile, which we haven't had for quite a while, but in the 20th century, it was a very strong placement. So these are the main things within the configuration. We do have a crown. A crown is made up by a mystic rectangle and a harmony triangle. A harmony triangle is a trine and two sextiles, and a mystic rectangle, of course, is two oppositions in the inner section, and in the outer, in the frame, is two trines and two sextiles. So the whole thing is a crown. You can see the crown here, and the crown jewel is Pluto. So Pluto is on the top or the tip of this configuration, transformation, of course. And then one trine is the Astraea Pluto Earth trine, but the other one, take a look, is Pluto Sedna, which at the moment is out of sign because it's a quincunx energy. Okay, as soon as Pluto goes back into Aquarius, which will be, I believe on November the 5th, it will again be an exact, energetically also exact trine. And there's also a crib. A crib is a mystic rectangle and two angel wings. Angel wings are made up by a sextile and two semi-sextiles. Those are the tiniest of the planetary pictures. So here's the crib, and the crib is always keeping something intact that will manifest later on. What is here in the crib? Sedna, creation through dissection, Astraea, karma breaking, destiny changing, Parasaptina, wisdom, and Neptune, transcendence and dreams and universal love, and also deception, don't forget. And the middle of the crib is made up by the ascendant descendant. There's also a fixed T-square involving the ascendant, descendant, and Pluto. It's energetically not really, it's not, sorry, it's not fixed. It is cardinal. Why did I say fixed? Sorry, it's a cardinal T-square, of course, because it's in cardinal size. So it's Aries, Libra, and Capricorn. It was very late. I really apologize. Actually, school started, and we have like 3 different things at school, and very interestingly, we have a ton of students this year, which is very, very nice. But a lot of administrations, a lot of work is included, and I really have even less time than I usually have. So it's a cardinal T-square, but it's also a mutable T-square involving the moon, Neptune, and Astraea. So there's a Neptune-Astraea opposition, and then the moon is coming up to exactness. Okay, so that's what it is. It's a very complex planetary picture, and quite fascinating, I should say. There's a lot of hidden energy as well. You can see that there are other, like there's this boomerang, it's a double boomerang, but of course 2 boomerangs are made up with the crib, and the crib is more important than just the boomerangs. Okay, here are the transcendental celestial objects. In the London chart, on the ascendant, you have Fortuna, fortune, Paracelsus, a polymath, and Arisha, which is the alpha star of Pisces. This is a very prominent star in transcendental karmic astrology, simply because of the place it is. If you take a look at in the sky, or just take a look at any planetarium, you will see that actually Pisces is really similar to 2 fish which are linked at their tails. There's a knot. This is Arisha, by the way. And the two fish, the placement of the 2 fish in the sky is fascinating, because one fish is moving back into the ecliptic, into existence, into the hero's journey, but the other fish is wishes to come out of this because it moves upward. So it's the dilemma whether or not I'm going to go back and start a new incarnation cycle or just a new incarnation, or I want out of it. I want to jump out of this. And the problem is that the knot, Arisha, is really tying the two up. So in order to go up, you need to go back. Kind of, this is what it suggests. And that is on the ascendant. So on the descendant, you have Adonis, the beautiful young man, Avicenna, even Cinna in Latin, who was a polymath and also a magician and a very good physician, and Thalia, the muse of theater. So if you have a muse, when you see a muse, an asteroid, it is always about channeling, how you can channel things down. Okay. On the moon, you have Leto, the mother of Apollo and Artemis, Varda, who is the one of the figures in Tolkien's Silmarillion, and she is the queen of the Valars, and she's the creator of stars. And the galactic center, and it's the center of our spiral galaxy, the Milky Way, and it's one of the key celestial areas in karmic astrology. This one carries the dilemma of to be or not to be. And if you look around, we are faced with this dilemma at the same time, the whole mankind really, not, and Europe especially, yes. On Neptune, you have Shead, which is Beta Pegasus, still the main healing word for suicide victims. On Pluto, you have Zeus and Ishtar. Zeus is the chief god for Greek, and Ishtar is the Mesopotamian love and war goddess, a very strong feminine figure. On Pallas Athena, you have Bacchus, represent the altered states of consciousness. And on Astraea, you have Asteria, which is the same archetype, really. Astraea is the daughter of Zeus, and Asteria is denotes divination, but they are very, very close. Helena, who was the trigger of the Trojan War. Attila, the Hun, who was our king in Hungary, of course, because Scythians, Huns, and Hungarians are the same continuation of people. Kagara, which is a newly named centaur, I believe it was named maybe 2 years ago only, and it is an African figure who uh, wants to free her own wife with the help of his brother, the wife's brother, and for this they use all kinds of weather magic. And there's also the supergalactic center, which at the moment is at 1 degree Libra, but with the galactic center and also the supergalactic center, we allow a 2 degree orb either way, either side. So actually anything at the very end of Virgo or at 1, 2 degrees Libra are definitely there at the supergalactic center, which is the center of Laniakea. And it carries a dilemma of nothing is ever enough. And on Sedna is still the Pleiades, the home of the creator goddess. So that is the space-time moment. I think that's it. I hope. Yeah, I didn't do anything. I just that's what I had. I had time only for this. This is September 11th, at the anniversary of the Twin Towers demolition. Isn't it interesting that they immediately knew, like 10 minutes after it happened, that there was an Arabic terrorist who committed the whole thing, and because listen to this, his passport was found at the bottom of the collapsed towers. Right. This is very credible, right? But to this day, after more than 2 years, they are unable to say who blew up the pipeline, the oil pipeline in Germany, or for Germany actually. Isn't it interesting how you can sometimes know immediately within minutes who is the perpetrator, and sometimes it can't be told. Why not? This is the world we are living in, and that is why this world is really trying to fall apart, because you can't actually build a world on lies. Thank you for listening. Bye-bye.